Welcome to Comfort Time with Aunty Yunike, where we share testimony stories. Our story for today is awesome. It's a story that I think will start a conversation that needs to be had. And our guest for today is no stranger to Comfort Time. You've seen her here many times. And so we are happy and blessed to welcome once again Sandra Agyemang. Welcome to Comfort Time.
Thank you so much, Auntie Mary. It's always a pleasure to be here at Comfort Time. It's a place I'm very comfortable being.
Yeah, home.
I'm home.
It's home.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. So our topic for today is that a woman who is rich or who is comfortable or who has a good job, who is working, can that woman have a relationship with a man, a poor man, maybe even one who is working but not getting as much money as she is, or one who is in business but not doing as well as the woman is? What are the chances of them having a relationship, a happy relationship? Is that even possible? I'm sure we've seen this in our society. Sandra, have you encountered any such? Have you heard of such? And what do you think?
You know what society says, and I'll start with a joke. Well, it sounds like a joke, but it's really something that society holds up to be very true. And they always say successful women are victims of their own success.
Oh,
and
wow.
it's so unfortunate because, yeah, I've been told that many times myself, so it is something I can relate to.
Okay.
Ordinarily, it should not be a difficult situation if two people love each other. I think they can actually plan, to have a happy life together. Relationships are a lot of work. Nobody says relationships are easy, plain sailing.
No.
But unfortunately, society holds certain standards by which we live. And so you find that there is always an expectation that the man will be the provider.
Yeah.
The man will be the breadwinner. I'm not saying head of the house. Without a doubt, a man will be the head of the household. But it's not always that he will be the one who will provide. It's not always that he will be the breadwinner. And so sometimes you find couples who've been married, maybe in the interim, in the initial stages, the man could have been the breadwinner. May lose a job, may have a disability, and then suddenly the wife has to pick up the pieces. And maybe she picks up the pieces very well. And people tend to frown upon that. Or maybe your own partner begins to feel insecure. So
they do feel insecure, and that can be a big problem. Once they feel less than, instead of supporting you, they'll start fighting you.
So instead of the support, you get sabotage.
Yes.
It should not be the case, Auntie Mary.
No.
It should not be the case. If you're working for the common good of a household, of a family, you should ordinarily, try and work things out. Because life is a cycle, You have your ups and you have your downs. And sometimes the man is the breadwinner and sometimes it's the woman, So give each other support.
I think what I've seen is that it's maybe the way one is socialized. Because I remember growing up, my mother was always a businesswoman. And my father used to work, he was a policeman. He didn't care how much money mom made. He made his money, he provided for the home as far as he could. If mom wanted to use her money for other things or she wanted to bring more things to the home, it didn't bother him. It's her money, she can do with it what she wants. And I thought everybody was like that, So I thought society, I thought everybody was like my dad and they were so secure in their masculinity. I'm a man, I do what I can for my family. If my wife supports, fine. If she doesn't, fine. Now I started noticing people being actually hostile to their wives because their wives were bringing more money than they were. And they started feeling insecure, and I'm like, but aren't you a couple? Aren't you a team? Where is that coming from? So it's really sad that some people, or as you say, society thinks no matter what they should provide, but there are many reasons why one would not be able to provide.
Absolutely. I mean, we do not have much control in terms of, destiny is destiny.
Yeah.
Sometimes, as I said, you'll start off and your man could actually be the breadwinner.
Oh, yeah.
But along the way, people lose themselves, people lose good jobs. Maybe the woman will go to school and excel in school. Maybe the man will be content with where he's at.
Yeah.
A whole host of reasons. But as you said, it's how you're cultured.
Yeah.
And I think, what we're seeing growing up, I think my experiences were similar to yours. I mean, I've come from a home where my father celebrated my mom in every way. He would, I mean, just a few weeks ago, when I was looking through my mom's things, you'd see so many books where my dad would buy a book for her and pen it off and say, to so-and-so, to Tina with love from Coffee.
Sweet.
And, it's interesting. He'd given her a book about tie and dye and fabric printing, and they both sat down to do fabric printing, and it went into a fully fledged business.
Wow!
And my mom did exceedingly well to an extent where the UN, one of the UN agencies, I think it was UNDP or UNHCR, even UNHCR, had contracted at some point to teach women in Maheba refugee camp to empower them. And alongside, she had this man who celebrated.
Can you imagine? Yeah.
So it's interesting because I grew up in a household where my father really celebrated my mom.
So it's really sad that not everybody sees it that way. Because you just assume that because you grew up in a family where women are celebrated and men are not insecure, everybody is like that. And then you discover, no, it's really not like that. And so, but we have also what I've discovered, men who, they may be in a position where they are not making as much as the women, but they've accepted and they're just laid back, expecting the woman to do everything. And then just because I'm a man, when the woman has gone for work, they come home, you find the man never did anything. He's just sitting there waiting for you to come and give him a cup of tea, to come and cook for him and do everything else. Is that fair?
Totally unfair. I mean, what we're seeing in today's, and I guess it boils down to how we're cultured. Growing up, and I'll use my example, growing up, I think when we saw, in the peak of HIV pandemic, we saw how a lot of households, the men went quickly and the women remained. And so we have households where, as I grew up, I saw friends who were being raised by very strong mothers and they had brothers. And so this whole group of men from about the 80s were seeing women who were leading households, very strong women. And when they go out looking for partners, they're looking for women who are already established, women who are strong enough to look after them, but they've still been groomed to believe they are men and they should not do women's chores. And so you will find a woman who, and I see this especially with the younger men, he's the man of the house, he will sit at home, maybe he's not working, the wife is the breadwinner. She will come back, babies haven't been cleaned, the house has not been cleaned, he won't cook. And it's very unfortunate. It is the conversation, as you said at the beginning of the video.
We need to have this conversation. It's not right. Because I'll give an example of something that really surprised me. I've shared before, we lived in New Zealand with my husband for 5 years. And when we were in New Zealand, he did everything. We could take care of our daughter, bath her, make sure everything was okay as I was at school. He did everything. We shared all the chores. And then when we got back to Zambia, I was expecting this
continuity.
I was expecting that to continue with the same. And then I come home and my husband is watching news and I'm looking and there's no food. I'm like, hello, There's no food here, says my friend. We are back inside.
I'll bet you.
I was so shocked. I was like, what do you mean? This is not our life. This is not how we live. It's like, do you want people to start laughing at?
That's it. Actually, that's the key word.
I was like, wow. You know, it was so shocking for me, the change, because I got used.
Too sudden.
Yes, I was so used to the way we lived. He was so considerate. Okay, this is ready. When I'm at school, he comes home early, he'll cook, he'll get the child ready, put her to sleep. And when I come, oh honey, welcome home, your food is in the warmer, and now just go sit, eat, we talk. And you know, if I come early, I do the same. And then I'm like, so you mean this is not how we're going to live anymore? He's like, no. I'm like, what? When did this change? You know? And then,
you know what would have happened? Your own relatives, your own female relatives would have possibly pulled you aside and said, you know what? This does not happen in Africa, because it's the way they've been cultured. It was so unheard of to see a man in the kitchen. And I mean, my father was always under attack from his own friends. They would find him, my friends would come home and they knew dad would make the best cup of tea, so uncle makes the best cup of tea. But dad always ironed our clothes and polished our shoes, and you know, you knew on Monday morning your shoes would be all lined up, he's polished. But our neighbors pulled him out, called him out and said, you know what? This is unheard of. Do not do this. No.
Oh my God. I think it was the same with mom. So it was, you know, it's amazing because growing up, my mother, I mean, we were 12 of us, and mom was always busy. So she was doing one thing or another. She was into this business or another business. So now she didn't have time to sit and make sure meals were planned. And she would come home. When she's home, she'll cook. We all have a good meal, and that's fine. If she's not home, she expects whoever is home, whether it's a boy or it's a girl. I had a rough time when I was younger, when she was busy going to business or going to church, and I had like to help her care for the children. But as we all grew up, she did not have time. She made sure everybody did their part. My brothers could cook, my brothers could sweep the house, my brothers did everything that we did because she made them. And my father, up to the time he died, Dad, he didn't trust like mom to iron his things. He just thought that mom didn't know how to iron. And he always ironed his own things, and when he wants something cooked a certain way, he cooked it himself. Mom would say, no, do it. And, no, I'm fine, I'm good. And Dad would carry his food. If he wants a sandwich made in a certain way and is looking at the time and he knows he'll be away for a long time, he'll pack his sandwich and go with it. So, you know, for me, I thought that's how all men are. I thought that's how everybody lives. So it was quite surprising and shocking to find that not everybody sees life like that. You know?
Unfortunately so. But you see, a lot of us don't like change. Change is something people find very hard to deal with.
But it's the only thing that's constant.
That's true. But you see, as society has continued to change, there are certain aspects of our culture we've failed to, to tweak in adapting to the change that is happening around us. And especially, I find that it's the grooming of our male children that needs to go through a lot of transformation. In your mom's house, they were already prepared because she realized a female child is no different from a male child. If I groom them the same, they'll both be able to perform well both at home and at school. But in many households, it's not the case. While we still send our female children and male children to school these days, the woman still remains at home to do the chores. And I have friends who will come home and find their brothers have messed the house and they're still pampering them. Oh, can I cook you such and such? Wow. Can I clean up after you? It's essentially what you're doing is you're preparing a very bad man for somebody else.
Yes, it's going to be a bad husband for someone.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, even my boys don't have a problem. They can cook, they can clean, they know, they did it in my home. So it's not a problem, and it's not something I'm going to frown at. If I is cooking, I know that they love to do that, and I know I'll get a good meal out of him. So it's really sad that we have continued to expect that our boy children should be held to a certain standard just because they are boys. For no any other reason, just because they are boys, I think that is not right. And I've seen now, I don't know if you've seen these young men who are following elderly women and wanting them to be, I don't know if you can call them their sugar mummies. I don't know what the term is, if it's still sugar mummies, because I've seen young men, as young as even my own children, following me around and me thinking they want to help me with the trolley because I'm struggling and going to the car, and this child has an agenda. So he's asking, oh, so mom,
he even uses the word mom.
Mom, can you imagine? Mom, can I help you? I'm like, oh, sure. I'm very happy because I'm always being accused by my children that I treat everybody as my child. If I've got something heavy or I want help, whoever I see, to me, they are my children. I say, hey, please help me with this, do this for me. Yeah. And they're like, Mom, you can't ask everybody to do things like that. But anyway, so far, everybody I've asked has been very good. And if they don't, I'm going to give them a piece of my mind because they are my children, whether they are biological or not.
No, it's true.
So now, this guy comes up to me and he wants to help me, and I'm very grateful. I give him the trolley and I want to have a conversation with him, and then he's telling me, you know that you don't have to do this. Mm-hmm. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I came shopping and I came alone and blah. No, what I mean is that you do not have to do this because I'm willing to do this for you. So now I'm like, okay, what do you mean you're willing to do this for me? I can drive you around. I can take, if it's your children, your grandchildren to school. I can run all your errands. And I looked at him, I'm like, excuse me, are you saying what I think you are saying? It's like, what do you mean? I'm like, how old are you again? Mm-hmm. I said, do you know I have children your age? So what you're doing is you're proposing to me that you can be, are you looking for a sugar mommy? No, Mom, I'm like, no, be honest, what are you looking for? Mm-hmm. Because to me, it sounds like you're asking me to be your girlfriend. I'm old enough to be your mother, mm-hmm. and you're asking me to be your girlfriend. Is that what you're asking? No, I mean, I said, no, you have to grow up. How far did you go to school? Yes. What plans do you have for your life? So I started counseling him. This should not happen. Do you know that this is disrespectful, not only to me, but to yourself? And I gave him I really told him off. I think, but you could see for him to have had that courage, it means that there are others.
It's happened before, yes.
Yeah, there are others who accept such nonsense.
That's it. Absolutely.
So it's society just gone crazy.
Society's gone crazy. Unfortunately, and as you said, here is someone who comes with an agenda. So for some, it's the way they've been cultured. For some, it's really the love of money. Looking for a comfortable lifestyle and not willing to do much.
Don't want to work for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because it says you don't have to drive. So I said, the last time I checked, every part of me works.
Absolutely.
So why do I need you to drive me around?
You know what I mean? And they always sound like they're doing you a favor. It's a situation where we have groomed our male children quite badly. But so too, I guess also the pressure on women in our society to be married also pushes our women to a level where anything that comes along is acceptable.
Like I said, it's like they'll accept anything in trousers just because he's a man, and because even if he doesn't do anything for them, he's not able to provide. Most women I've seen don't feel whole.
Absolutely.
Unless there's a man attached to them. So if they can't point to a man who is in a relationship with them, then they feel there's something wrong with them. They feel they are missing something. So as long as I have a man, whether he does something for me or not, whether he's good to me or not, that does not matter. I must have a man. I must be seen to have a man who is attached to me. And I think that's sad.
Unfortunately, these are the societal norms. And I was going to say to you, for instance, when I've been told, oh, you're a victim of your own success. I remember at some point, from our parish, our old parish, I would, one Sunday I had these aunties from church, these church aunties who would always say to me, oh, we need to know where you live and so on and so forth. And so I say to them, oh, no problem. I'm actually just dropping something at my site before I get home. So I came to drop some materials on site. And these church aunties came out of the car, looked at my property. I didn't get a word of congratulations.
Wow.
It was doom. I mean, it was a funeral. These women were literally, they were shaking their heads and saying, so who's going to marry after this?
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? People would say, why would you do this? You're a single woman, don't do anything.
What?
And so you get this thing. Society has its own way of bashing people. It's damn if you do, damn if you don't. You're a successful woman. I'll simply ask a lot of my colleagues, so I earn good money. Should I drive to the cafe and throw my money in the river just because?
Imagine just so that I can be seen to be a woman? Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah. And too, people would say, oh, you've set your standard too high. Because of that, men get very intimidated. And so you must tone down. Look, if you're meant to be successful, you're meant to be successful. Nothing is going to take it away from you. So the earlier society wakes up to the fact that there will be men who will not be as successful as their women. And there will also be women who will not be as successful as their men.
I think we need to accept there are men who are confident and who, like dad, like your father, who don't care about a woman's wealth.
Absolutely.
Who are there to love, respect, and honor a woman. And in fact, the stronger, the richer even a woman is, the more they're vulnerable. Because they need love just like everybody else. And just because you're making money and you are rich and all, doesn't make you different from any other woman.
Not at all.
So it's just people want to take advantage of that. But there are men who, what can I call them? Real men.
Absolutely. There are some real men there.
They may make less than the woman, but that does not bother them because they know who they are.
True.
They know what they bring to the table. I'm bringing to this woman what she cannot do for herself. She cannot love herself. She cannot care for herself. I'm there to do something that the woman will value more than what she has. So those are the men that should stand up and be counted. The lazy men who think just because I'm a man, I'll sit and I'll wait for the woman to do everything for me, those ones need to be shown the door.
Shown the door, absolutely. And on top of that, even most of those tend to come with the bad trait of disrespecting women.
Yes.
To try and step all over her, to break her spirits.
Yeah. They think the more they mistreat you, the more they feel manly. And that just goes to show that they really don't know what being a man is. He's the head of the home, yes. He's a provider when he's able. But when the woman is able, it's not a big deal.
Absolutely.
We are a team. We come and meet each other halfway.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow. Okay, this was awesome.
Amazing. I mean, it's interesting. I like that you've given a call out there to the real men out there. Look, stand when we see men out there, we always say behind a successful man is a woman.
Besides.
And so we'd like to say to the men. Besides
a successful woman is a man. You have people, sometimes a man will help. You see a very successful woman and a husband or a partner who is just behind the scenes. The success you're seeing, you don't even know you're seeing her because she's in the forefront. Absolutely. The one who is doing all the work is behind the scenes.
True.
He's beside her, he supports her, he encourages her, he shows her which way to go, and you are seeing the person who is in front. And you may not even get to understand just how much that man has put into the woman so that she can be who she is. And then at the end of the day, you say, who is the strong one? For me, the strong one is the man, the one who is supporting her, because without him, she wouldn't go at the pace she's going.
True.
So men, we look up to you. Please don't worry about who is in front or who is, be beside your woman, support her, be there for her. If she comes home, she's tired, even help her take off the shoes, rub her feet, give her the back rub and give her a cup of tea. It takes nothing from you. When it's your turn, you're tired, you've come from somewhere, you were working, she will do the same for you.
True.
So we are there to help each other. You help her, you take care of her, she helps you, she takes care of you. That is what partnership is. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what anybody outside says. It's your happiness in your home that should matter.
Totally agree with that. Well said.
Wow, thank you so much. So having said that, I'm sure behind me I've seen the SODs that we've always talked about.
Totally. I can see that.
Yeah, so let's live as long as we can to enjoy our lives. I'm always being accused that at the rate you're going, you will live to be 100. So we're just sharing about SOD. SOD stands for superoxide demustase, which is an enzyme. This is a nutrient that when you take, when we are born with 100% SOD. As we get older, we lose the SOD. We're only about 40, it comes to about 70%. And as we age, it gets even less. So when you take the nutrient SOD, it builds up the SOD so that the cells are regenerated, they are regrown, because we are made up of cells, all of us, our whole bodies are cells. So once the cells are not okay, we are not okay. But when you are on SOD, which is what we have, you can reach out to Comfort Time for more information. You'll find that all other ailments, like if you are diabetic, you are hypertensive, you've got inflammation of the prostate gland, and which is the problem that most men have. That's why they call SOD Viagra. The men have nicknamed it Viagra because once they take it, they find that the inflammation goes, and when the inflammation goes, they start functioning normally in the home, and for them, it's Viagra. But no, it heals everything. So would be very happy to help whoever has issues, whether it's arthritis, and especially people who've had strokes. They've really benefited from SOD because it helps to heal whichever part has died or is not working. So please reach out to Comfort Time for more information on SOD. Go on SOD. Let's live a life, a long, healthy life, and enjoy what we have worked for. So thank you, Sandra, so much for coming. It's always a pleasure to chat on different topics.
Oh, you're amazing.
Yeah. So please, you're welcome. I'll call on you again and again and again because it's fun. It's fun to help.
Yeah, always a pleasure to talk to you.
So Comfort Time continues. Please remember to give us a thumbs up. When you do that, YouTube picks it up and shares with other people who may not have seen our videos otherwise. And then also share them widely. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Thank you. So stay blessed. See you in the next video.